मोमिनीन की सेहत व सलामती के लिए, इस्लाम की बालादस्ती के लिए और दुश्मनान इस्लाम की ज़िल्लत और रुसवाई के लिए बुलंद सलावत। For the reappearance of our Imam, Imam Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman, Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, loud salawat. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والفجر وليال عشر والشفع والوتر والليل إذا يسر هل في ذلك قسم لذي حجر ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بعاد إرم ذات العماد التي لم يخلق مثلها في البلاد وثمود الذين جابوا الصخر بالواد وفرعون ذي الأوتاد الذين طغوا في البلاد فأكثروا فيها الفساد فصب عليهم ربك صوت عذاب إن ربك لبالمرصاد فأما الإنسان إذا ما ابتلاه ربه فأكرمه ونعمه فيقول ربي يكرمن وأما إذا ما ابتلاه فقدر عليه رزقه فيقول ربي أهانن كلا بل لا تكرمون اليتيم ولا تحاضون على طعام المسكين وتأكلون التراث أكلا لما وتحبون المال حبا جما كلا إذا دكت الأرض دكا دكا وجاء ربك والملك صفا صفا وجيء يومئذ بجهنم يومئذ يتذكر الإنسان وأنى له الذكرى يقول يا ليتني قدمت لحياتي فيومئذ لا يعذب عذابه أحد فيومئذ لا يعذبه عذابه أحد ولا يوثق وثاقه أحد يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية فادخلي في عبادي وادخلي جنتي فادخلي في عبادي وادخلي جنتي صدق الله العلي العظيم. Mu'mineen, this is a recitation of Surah Al-Fajr, which is also known or has been said by our Mufassirin that this surah can be referred to as the surah associated with Imam Hussain alayhi salam and his sacrifice. And if you notice in the very beginning, we will go through it, there is a reference to 10 nights, which scholars say refer to the 10 nights, the first 10 nights of Muharram. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I swear by the daybreak and the 10 nights, and the even and the odd, and the night when it departs. Truly in that there is an oath for those who possess understanding. Have you not considered how your Lord dealt with Ad, the people of Aram, possessors of lofty buildings, the likes of which were not created in the other cities, and with Samud, who hewed out the rocks in the valley, and with Fir'aun, the Lord of hosts, who committed inordinacy in the cities. So they made great mischief therein. Therefore your Lord let down upon them a portion of the chastisement. Most surely your Lord is watching. And as for man, when his Lord tries him, then treats him with honor and makes him lead an easy life, he says, my Lord honors me. But when he tries him differently, then he straightens to him his means of subsistence. He says, my Lord has disgraced me. Nay, but you do not honor the orphan, nor do you urge one another to feed the poor, and you eat away the heritage, devouring everything indiscriminately, and you love wealth with exceeding love. Nay, when the earth is made to crumble to pieces, and your Lord comes and also the angels in ranks, and hell is made to appear on that day shall man be mindful, and what shall being mindful then avail him? He shall say, oh, would that I had sent before for this my life. But on that day shall no one chastise with anything like his chastisement, and no one shall bind with anything like his binding. O soul that art at rest, return to your Lord, well pleased with him, well pleasing him. So enter among my servants and enter into my garden. Sadaqallahu al-Aliyyul Azim. As you know, these last verses, Ya ayyatuhan nafsul mutma'inna irji'i ila rabbika radiyatan mardiyah. These are the verses that were supposedly Imam Hussain received this call from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of Ashura and put down his sword. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. The salam will be recited by Sayyid Ali and Sayyid Abdullah Jaffry, inshallah.
how it is. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Ya binta Rasulillah, Ya zawjata aynillah, Ya umma wajihillah, Ya Fatima Zahra, Ya binta Rasulillah, Ya zawjata aynillah, Ya umma wajihillah, Ya Fatima Zahra. You were mercy for rahmatan lil alameen, a shelter for Haidar, shelter for Allah's deen,
a cradle for Hussain, Zainab, Kulthum, the Jadda of Mahdi, Ma'soom ibn Ma'soom.
You are the fountainhead of love and sacrifice. No wonder you were named Lady of Paradise. Ya binta Rasulillah,
everyone.
Ya zawjata aynillah, Ya umma wajihillah, Ya Fatima Zahra. O daughter of Ahmad, Zawja of Murtada, O mother of Hussain, Ya al-Aima.
The weight of every role you bore so perfectly that Allah spread the tahir from your identity.
Look, this is Fatima, and this is her father, and this is her husband, and this her progeny.
انظرهم فاطمة أبوها بعلها بدوها أحلى البيت
طهرهم تطهيرا. يا بنت رسول الله، يا زوجة عين الله، يا أم وجيه الله، يا فاطمة الزهراء. In marriage loyalty, content in poverty, as parent keeping faith during adversity.
When working with Fidda, preaching equality, when feeding the needy, teaching humanity.
Your virtues are unmatched, Ya Umme Abiha, your model worthy of Sayyidatun Nisa. Ya binta Rasulillah, Ya zawjata Aynillah, Ya umma wajihillah, Ya Fatima az-Zahra. Tending your father's wounds, sustaining risalat, protesting Saqifa, protecting imamat.
Your challenge did not die until the day you died. Your khutbah will survive every era and tide.
We shall never concede that might is always right. Your protest shall endure, O Our Lady of Light. Ya binta Rasulillah, Ya zawjata Aynillah, Ya umma wajihillah, Ya Fatima az-Zahra.
Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Mu'mineen, a few announcements. As you know, we start the Majlis at 5:45 p.m. We apologize that we were a few minutes late today. We also seek to end the Majlis before 7:30, so Moulana takes the minbar at 6:10 p.m. We might be a couple of minutes late on that, but inshallah, we have been trying to keep to time. As mentioned previously, we have a large selection of books outside, which are ordinarily not available in Pakistan. Please do look at them. They are being offered at discounted prices, especially the kids' books. And we also have 3 new editions from Moulana Aqib Jaffry's Tibyan Institute. These books are about Hajj and also preparing for the time of death, and we urge you inshallah to look at these books and purchase them. I noticed that there are some parents with young children. If you feel that your child is causing disturbance and disruption to the broader gathering, can I please request you to take your child to the area on the 2nd floor outside near the books. अगर आपके छोटे बच्चे हैं और वो मजलिस में मुश्किल पैदा कर रहे हैं, तो आपसे गुजारिश है कि आप 2nd फ्लोर पे इस फ्लोर के ऊपर चले जाएं. वहाँ एक कारपेट और वहाँ बैठने का और स्क्रीन का भी इंतज़ाम है. So this is a courtesy for the rest of the audience, so that the majlis should not be disturbed. And I will encourage the ladies, the organization of the ladies on the ladies' side, to please try and help such parents, avail of the opportunity downstairs. Thank you. Can I also request you to please switch your cell phones off or to silent mode? As the hall gets populated and the seats get filled up and new members come in, I would request the younger ones to kindly come forward and sit in the steps here or on the steps on the side, and leave the seats for the elderly participants. Today's majlis is sponsored by the family of Sayyid Zuhair Ahmad Shah, please recite a Surah Al-Fatiha. Let me first take the names of the marhumin. Marhum Sayyid Zahir Ahmad Shah, Sayyid Riaz Hussain Shah, Sayyid Nasir Ahmad Shah, Fatima Sughra, Tasneem Fatima, Sayyid Wajid Ali Shah, Sayyida Mushtaq Begum, Sayyid Tajammul Abbas, Sayyid Dilawar Abbas, Sayyida Munazza Iftikhar, and also Fatiha for all your marhumin and all those who have died in a state of devotion to the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. صلوا على محمد وعلى محمد. Mu'mineen, as you know, we have been benefiting from the lectures by Moulana Syed Ali Aqib Jaffry on the topic of Quran, the solution to mankind's problems. Today is the fourth majlis in this series of majalis. Without further ado, I will request Hujjatul Islam, Moulana Syed Ali Aqib Jaffry, to come and take the minbar with your loudest of salawats.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وخاتم النبيين سيدنا ونبينا وشفيع ذنوبنا وطبيب قلوبنا بالقاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين الغر الميامين المعصومين من يومنا هذا إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه المجيد وخطابه المتين وهو أصدق القائلين وقوله الحق. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن هذا القرآن يهدي للتي هي أقوم. صلوات. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this holy verse is announcing one of the attributes of the Holy Quran, that verily this Quran guides towards that what is most upright. It guides us towards the principles and towards the keys that will unlock the doors to our problems. This is the nature of the Quran. It has been sent down to establish order and justice and discipline in the society. That is one of the reasons for sending down the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the divine message along with the prophets. The Holy Quran is very clear about it. وَلَقَدْ بَعَثْنَا فِي كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ رَسُولًا. Verily we sent in every ummah a prophet. With what message? And the message that they had to deliver, أَنِ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ, worship Allah, وَاجْتَنِبُوا الطَّاغُوتَ, and stay away from the taghut, stay away from those who are themselves deceived by shaitan and deceive others, who are themselves deviated and deviate others from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the reason that you find in this verse these two concepts side by side, and abudullah, worship Allah and stay away from the taghut, is because in this world all of us are in a state of motion. We are all moving towards something. We are all traversing a journey, and this journey is either towards light and nur or away from light towards darkness. It's either of the two. Either you are moving towards nur or you're moving away from the nur. And as we know, and as the traditions also says, that parts of the Holy Quran explain other verses of the Holy Quran. In Ayatul Kursi, you all must have read these verses. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Allahu waliyul ladhina amanu. Allah is the wali of all those who believe. And what does Allah do? What does this wali do to these people? Allahu waliyul ladhina amanu yukhrijuhum min adh-dhulumat ila an-nur. Allah takes them out, their wali, which is Allah, takes them out of darkness into the nur. So this is the journey from darkness towards nur. And the very next verse, وَالَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, and those who disbelieve, those who reject, أَوْلِيَاهُمُ الطَّاغُوتِ, their awliya, their masters are taghut. The tyrants, shaitan, the deviated people, the deviated leaders, could be a system. And what does that taghut do to them? يُخْرِجُونَهُمْ مِنَ النُّورِ إِلَى الظُّلُمَاتِ. It exits them from the nur that they are in and takes them towards the darkness. So this is the other journey, the opposite journey, away from nur towards darkness. So all of us, all of you sitting in this room, including myself, we are either moving towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Successful are those whose journey is towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and doomed are those whose journey is towards darkness. And how will that journey and direction be determined? Who you make your wali. Allahu waliyul ladhina amanu. Allah becomes the wali, and He takes them out of darkness, from them out of darknesses towards nur. And those who reject, taghut becomes their wali, and the taghut takes them from nur towards darkness. That is why in that verse, in the first verse that I recited, لَقَدْ بَعَثْنَا فِي كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ رَسُولًا. We sent in every ummah a rasul with the message, أَنِ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ, worship Allah. This is the direction towards nur. But this is not compatible with accepting the guardianship and mastership of the taghut. Because the taghut is inviting you towards darkness, and Allah is inviting you towards nur. Iman is nur and kufr is darkness. And abudullah, worship Allah, wajtanibut taghut, and stay away from the taghut. And in this world, it has been designed in that manner that it will have problems. When Hazrat Adam alayhi salatu wasalam was being sent to this world, he was told that in heaven, for example, there were no issues, there were no worries. He could eat how much, from wherever, and how much ever, whatever he wanted. The sun did not burn his skin. There was no mashaqqat. And Allah had informed him that if you leave this Jannah, then there will be mushaqqat. Fatashqa. If you eat from this tree, then you can no longer live here. This world is designed to have mushaqqat. So if you look at that mushaqqat as a problem, that problem will not go away. That problem is there to stay. You have to understand the reality of this world to accept. And once you understand and the reality of this world and realize that this world has problems, it only becomes easier to bear these problems. And the fact that everybody else is also going through some kind of a problem makes it easier to bear these kind of difficulties. One of the reasons why, probably when the verse of fasting was revealed, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kutiba alaykumus siyam. Fasting has been prescribed on you. It's a difficult task. Not eating and drinking anything and staying and abstaining from other halal things from dawn till Maghrib, from Fajr till Maghrib. It was a difficult task. In order to make it easier for us to accept this difficulty, Allah said, Kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum. Just like it was prescribed on the nations before you. You're not the only one going through this hardship. Previous nations also went through this hardship. One of the reasons why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about the stories of the previous prophets and the difficulties they went through. According to Holy Quran itself, when the Holy Quran talks about these stories and addresses the Holy Prophet with these stories, the Holy Quran says so that we could make you steadfast. So the Holy Prophet should know that other prophets also went through similar difficulties. It makes it easier to bear these difficulties. So a set of difficulties that we face in this world will always be there. The way to deal with these problems is sabr, is to accept them and accept them as challenges. Because that is why they are there. Last year we had that topic of dua, and before that of bala, azmaish, examination, testing. So this is the world of bala, of examination, of testing. There will be challenges, and those challenges might be difficult, but they are there to help us grow, to help us move towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they are a blessing in that sense. And these problems ought to be there. Yes, when we enter Jannah, inshallah, then that is where there will be no problem. That is a place that is free from problems. In this dunya, every blessing that comes to you will have an associated difficulty with it. You're blessed with the child might die. He might get sick. There might be tarbiyati issues. You have health, you might get sick. You have wealth, it might get stolen. You might lose your wealth. It is only in Jannah. And then again in this world, every hardship has some blessing hidden in it. If when it gets tougher, you grow. Leaders emerge in times of difficulty. This is the nature of this dunya. It is only in Jannah, in paradise, that there will be absolute happiness. There will be nothing attached with it. Even in this world, when you eat something tasty, the pleasure is time limited. As long as that food is on your tongue and your taste buds are active, you enjoy the taste of that food. But after that, your digestive system has to work for hours to digest it. Go and excrete what is not needed and smell all of that you do not want to smell. That is all associated with the blessing. Every blessing is in this has an associated hardship, and every hardship has an associated blessing. It is in the hereafter that there will be absolute happiness and absolute hardship in hell and absolute blessing in heaven. There is no toilet in the heavens. You can eat whatever you want. And there is no blessing associated with the hellfire. So this is the first set of blessings, of problems that you cannot do. Then there are other blessings, other hardships that we inflict ourselves with it. By not following and by not aligning ourselves with the divine design. Allah has designed this universe and given us the framework within which this universe works. And the Quran points to the framework, not at one point, in multiple different places, different verses. Not align ourselves with that framework, we will create problems. We might solve one problem at one point, but we might create other problems. That solution, if it is not aligned with the divine design, will create more side effects. And not only that, when we pick and choose the solutions that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provided, when we pick and choose religion, we end up in the same problem. The whole structure of religion is an integrated, look at it as an integrated piece of machinery that is all working coherently in coordination. So if you have a car and you plug out some of the wires, some of the cables, and you start the car, it is not going to function. Because all of these pieces were supposed to be there for it to function effectively. Now this car, some of the plugs are missing, some of the cables are missing. It might not work. And what would you have to do? You'd have to push the car. And after a while, you will be tired. This car will become an overhead. And you might say to yourself, might as well get rid of it. We have done the same with religion. When we pick and choose religion, it will not deliver. And after a while, it will become an overhead for us. Especially for the youth, because they don't have the patience. And then they might want to get rid of it. And the Holy Quran points to this problem in one of the verses where it says, أَفَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْضِ الْكِتَابِ وَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْضِ. Do you believe in part of the book and reject part of it? Selectively applying religion in our lives. أَفَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْضِ الْكِتَابِ وَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْضِ. Do you believe in part of the book and reject part of the book? What is the result? فَمَا جَزَاءُ مَنْ يَفْعَلُ ذَلِكَ مِنْكُمْ. The punishment of whoever does that from amongst you, what is it? Is nothing but فَمَا جَزَاءُ مَنْ يَفْعَلُ ذَلِكَ مِنْكُمْ إِلَّا خِزْيٌ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. Is nothing but ruswai and humiliation in this dunya. So if we look at the Muslim Ummah and ask ourselves this question, why is the Muslim Ummah in this state of khizyan and ruswai and humiliation? The answer is there in the Quran. أَفَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْضِ الْكِتَابِ وَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْضِ. You have followed, you have taken part of the book and rejected part of the book. What suits you, pick what suits you, and you reject what doesn't suit you. Allah has warned us against taking non-believers as our masters and guides and supervisors and guardians. Look at the state of the Muslim Ummah. Their masters and their guides and their guardians are none but the non-believers. They are the ones who tell them and advise them what to do. The Quran says, أَفَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْضِ الْكِتَابِ وَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْضِ فَمَا جَزَاءُ مَنْ يَفْعَلُ ذَلِكَ مِنْكُمْ إِلَّا خِزْيٌ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. The result is nothing but ruswai in this dunya, and the verse doesn't end here. No, if it was just khizyun fil hayatid dunya, then with death this problem would go away. That would have solved this problem. The verse says, وَيَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ يُرَدُّونَ إِلَىٰ أَشَدِّ الْعَذَابِ. And on the day of the punishment is not limited to this dunya. So the Quran gives us, provides us with the framework and expects us to follow and establish that framework. So the solution that the Quran is going to provide is not that easy in the sense that the Quran is going to come and fix everything. Just like the nation of Musa ﷺ said to God, verily we sent our prophets bil bayyinat, with clear signs. Wa anzalna ma'humul kitab wal mizan, and we revealed down along with the prophets kitab, book, and the scale and the mizan. Why? We feel of injustice in the judicial system, in the distribution of wealth and resources, misallocation of resources, all of these problems, they all go back to injustice in the system. And it is our responsibility to stand up for justice. And the framework for justice has been given to us by the book, by the Quran. And the scale is there next to the Quran. And this is beautiful. This verse says, Arsalna, we sent our prophets, and along with them we revealed the book and the scale. Two things have come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Book and the scale. Where is the scale? In other words, it's قَدْ جَاءَكُم مِّنَ اللَّهِ نُورٌ وَكِتَابٌ مُّبِينٌ. Noor and book has come to you from Allah. We understand the book. What is this noor that Allah is talking about? So Allah has sent these along with the Holy Prophet. Reason, purpose, لِيَقُومَ النَّاسُ بِالْقِسْطِ. So we stand up for justice. So there is a part, there is a responsibility that we have to fulfill if we want the solution to our problems. I don't want anybody to leave with this impression that Islam is there to solve our problems, so we don't have to do anything. One of the examples one of my teachers used to give, he said that people think, and when we say that Islam has the solution to our problems, people complain, well, then why isn't it solving my problem? He said the example of such people is that when they go to the doctor and the doctor says that you're sick, then this is a tablet that you need to have. And they say, well, I am allergic to tablets and I can't have a tablet, I vomit. It doesn't taste well. Well, then I can give you a capsule. Well, though the capsule, the size increases and I can't swallow the capsule either. The doctor will say, then I can give you an injection. Well, that hurts. So I don't want an injection either. Then the doctor will say, I can't do anything with you. Either take the medicine or the injection or whatever other means are available. But if you don't want to bear the pain and the suffering that comes along with this treatment, then I don't have a solution for you. Not that I don't have a solution for you, you don't want a solution. The same is with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In one of the beautiful statements, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from the Holy Prophet, he was addressing his companions. He said, Ayyuhan nas, O people, antum fi dare hudna. You are in dare hudna. Hudna translates into ceasefire. You are in the time of ceasefire. Okay. And then he explains, إنكم في زمان هدنة, or another tradition says دار هدنة, وإن السير بكم صري, and the journey is fast, that the ceasefire will end soon. وقد رأيتم الليل والنهار يبليان كل جديد, and you see the day and night are turning every new thing into old. With the passage of time, everything is getting old. وَيُقَرِّبَانَ كُلَّ بَعِيدٍ, and it is, they are bringing near whatever is far. Death is far, Qiyamah is far. With the passage of time, that is coming. What is far is coming near. وَيَأْتِيَانِ بِكُلِّ مَوْعُودٍ, and it is bringing every promised thing. فَعِدُّ الْجِهَادِ لِبُعْدِ الْمَجَازِ, gather your zade safar, gather your what you need for a long journey. One of the things that you do in ceasefire, when ceasefire takes place, is that you arm yourself. You complete whatever is missing, your ammunition, you refill them, you prepare for the end of the ceasefire. Miqdad stands up and asks, Ya Nabi Allah, Mal Hudna, what is Hudna? That you said this world is, this dar is Darul Hudna. The Prophet replied, Bala'in, or in another tradition, Balaghin wa inqita'in, reaching and disconnecting. This is the nature of this dunya. This is there, it is a launching pad where you have to reach the hereafter, you have to connect to the hereafter and disconnect yourselves from the material possessions that you have. And in that difficulty, in that challenge, the Prophet says, وَفَإِذَا إِلْتَبَسَتِ الْأُمُورِ عَلَيْكُمْ, when things become suspicious and dubious and you do not know what to do. The time that we are living in, when things become so dubious, كَقِطَعِ اللَّيْلِ, like the darkness of the night, كَقِطَعِ اللَّيْلِ الْمُظْلِمِ, like the darkness of the dark night, فَعَلَيْكُمْ بِالْقُرْآنِ, turn to the Qur'an. Turn to the Qur'an. This is the advice of the Holy Prophet. Why? فَإِنَّهُ شَافِعٌ مُشَفَّعٌ, because it is an intercessor, a shafi, whose intercession is accepted. وَمَاحِلٌ مُصَدَّقٌ, and a complainer whose complaint is not rejected. See, if the Quran intercedes for someone, its intercession will be accepted. And if Quran complains against someone, its complaint will not go unanswered. وَمَنْ جَعَلَهُ أَمَامَهُ, whoever puts the Quran in front of it, قَادَهُ إِلَى النَّارِ إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ, this Quran will lead it to Jannah, will lead it to paradise. It will take you out of the darknesses into Nur. وَمَنْ جَعَلَهُ خَلْفَهُ, and whoever places it behind himself, سَاقَهُ إِلَى النَّارِ, this Holy Quran will push it, that person, towards the fire. That is where it will end. And then it starts to describe some of the attributes. It says, وَلَهُ زَهَرٌ وَبَطَنٌ, this Quran has an obvious, has a zahir, and then it has a batan, has a hidden. The zahir is there for everyone to understand. It is not that this Quran is a book that only the specific certain people can understand. This book is there for everyone to understand. Just like the ocean is there for everyone to benefit from. Yes, there are hidden pearls in the depths of the ocean that not everyone will have access to. You need special tools and equipment to reach there. But everyone can benefit at the sight of the ocean. And everyone can swim in the ocean. And everyone can take a ride in the ocean. The Quran is similar. It is like that. It is not limited only to the ulama or to the awliya. Yes, it has pointers and it has clues and it has hints that only those people can understand, not everyone. Lahu zahrun wa batanun, and then he says, wa fazahiruhu hukmun. وَبَاطِنُهُ عِلْمٌ. The obvious is an order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And behind this order is an ocean of knowledge. Every hukum of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you start to dig, and if a PhD thesis was to be done on that, it is possible to do one. There's one phrase from the Imam, one 4-liner phrase, and 51 volumes have been written about it. 51 volumes. That is the statement of the Imam. This is the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every hukum has ilm behind it. Zahiruhu aniq wa batinuhu amiq. The zahir is mystifying, and the batin, the hidden, is deep. La tuhsa ajaibuhu wa la tubla gharaibuhu. The ajaib, the wonders, its wonders can never be counted. And its gharaib will never go old. They will always stay fresh. Fihe masabihul huda. It holds the keys, the torches, the lights of hidayat. Wa manar al-hikmah, and the torches of hikmah, of wisdom. We have this treasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before us, but we are not cashing it. Our problems, be it individual, be it family related, be it social, be it global, you'll find keys to the solutions of that in the Quran. The Quran will not address these issues in extreme detail, but it will give you the framework which you can use and dig and expand on and set it up, be it your financial problems that the world is facing or other problems. The problem of, for example, the problem of unity. The Quran says, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Hold to the rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and do not become divided into sects. Not only among the mu'mineen, this verse was regarding the mu'mineen. There's another verse that talks about intra-faith unity. And the key on how to accomplish that intra-faith unity. It says, Qul, O Prophet, say to them, Ya Ahlal Kitab, O people of the book, Ta'alaw ila kalimatin sava'in. Come towards the common phrase, Baynana wa baynakum, between us. Let us gather on the commonality between us and you. And what is that? An la na'budu illallah. That we will not worship anyone except Allah. This is the common phrase between all the people, divine book. Let us gather on this commonality. How can we believe, how can one say that the Quran does not have to offer anything on intrafaith dialogue? And la na'budu illallah wa la nushrik bihi shay'a, and that we will not do sharik of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala anyone. Will not make anyone sharik to Allah. Wa la yattakhidha ba'zuna ba'za arbaba, and will not make, some of us will not make some of the others as their Rabb and Arbab, masters. Ya Ahlul Kitab, if you want unity with, we want unity with the Ahlul Kitab, the framework is here. When it comes to marrying off our children, finding spouses our children, because family is such an important building block of the society, the Quran goes on to extreme lengths to discuss and describe the framework for that. Before I go into that, I'd like to take a few steps back. When we're dealing with that verse, أَفَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْضِ الْكِتَابِ وَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْضٍ, when you take part of the book and you reject part of the book. This is a mistake that even we, as ordinary human beings, do all the time. There's this story from the time of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam. one of the persons became very popular for his good deeds, and suddenly everybody was talking about how gracious he is and how he is engaged in doing a lot of charity work. And the Imam was surprised. And so one day the Imam, so he was the talk of the town. So one day the Imam wanted to see him for himself. So Imam went, and Imam saw that this person is standing in the gathering and he's speaking, and a lot of people have gathered, and he stopped his sermon and started to walk, and the Imam started to follow him. The Imam noticed that he stopped at a bread store, at a bakery, and while the shopkeeper was not watching, he grabbed 2 loaves of bread and put it in his bag, and he walked away. So it surprised the Imam. What did he do? But because the Islamic tradition and Islamic recommendation is that you do not have to do su'e-zan with anybody, you have to consider. So the Imam did husn-e-zan, and maybe this person has already paid it, or he pays at the end of the month, and he has an agreement with the shopkeeper, and so the Imam did not make any judgment, negative judgment regarding him. This husn-e-zan is again another key to the solution of a lot of problems. You know, when you see someone coming out of a bar, for example, do not make any bad judgments. Maybe he has gone there to advise one of his friends who was sitting there. Try to come up with the tradition says, try to come up with 70 excuses before doing a bad zan for him. Maybe this is what he meant. Maybe this is not what he meant. Maybe this is what he wanted to say. Maybe he's there because of this. Maybe he did this because of that. Even if you heard it from your own ears and he says, no, I did not say that, even then accept his words. This is teaching of, and the Holy Prophet used to do that, to the extent that they would go back, the munafiqeen would go back and say, he just listens to whatever we say. In Urdu we say, kano ka kacha. And they would say, he's a uzun, he's an ear. Kaan hai wo. Whatever we say, he listens, he accepts it. And the Quran responded to them by saying, huwa khairu uzun, he's a good ear. Like if the Prophet knows that this is not what you meant, but he still accepts so that things can move on. Because if you start fighting over little things, the fabric of the society will tear apart. So husn-e-zan, again, if you look at the teachings of husn-e-zan, so the Imam did husn-e-zan and he continued to follow him. Only to see that he stops at a fruit shop, and while the fruit owner was not watching, he picked 2 fruits and put it in his basket and moved on. The Imam again was surprised. Why did he have to wait for the shopkeeper to look elsewhere? And then he went forward and he went to a place where there were poor people, and he distributed all of it to the poor people. At that point, the Imam stopped him and said, what is this that you have done? I've seen some really strange things from you. You took two things from that person and 2 things from that, and without them noticing, and then you've come here and you've given them in charity. He looked at the Imam and he said, it looks like you belong to a noble family. Are you the grandson of the Holy Prophet? The Imam said, yes. He said, well, Quran was revealed in your household. How come you can't explain? You can't understand what I did? The Imam said, what did you do? What do you mean? He said, have you not read this verse of the Holy Quran? Man ja'a bil hasana falahu ashru amthaliha. Whoever does a good deed will be rewarded 10 times his face value. وَمَنْ جَاءَ بِالسَّيِّئَةِ فَلَا يُجْزَى إِلَّا مِثْلَهَا. And whoever does a bad deed, he will get 1 punishment, 1 negative point for every bad deed. So what do you mean? He said, so I stole 4 things. And I gave them in charity. So for every charity, 4 charities, 4 things given in charity, so I get 40 points. And I stole 4 things, so I deduct 4 from it. So I'm still at 36. And this is simple math, and I'm surprised the Holy Quran was revealed in your household and you don't understand this simple math. This is picking and choosing part of the Holy Quran. أَفَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْضِ الْكِتَابِ وَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْضِ الْكِتَابِ. Well, this person was jahil. Maybe he's not aware of this other word, the Holy Prophet, the son of the Holy Prophet, who is the guardian of the Holy Prophet and who knows the Quran inside out. That is why it is important to have someone appointed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a guardian over this Quran. So when people are making mistakes by picking and choosing or forgetting some of the hierarchy of the Quran, this guardian can correct them. The guardian is always needed. The Imam said to him, but did you not read this verse of the Holy Quran when it says, إِنَّمَا يَتَقَبَّلُ اللَّهُ مِنَ الْمُتَّقِينَ. Allah accepts deeds only from the muttaqeen. Only from those who are ba-taqwa. When you stole 4 things, that is not an act of taqwa. And when you gave those things in sadaqah, these were already things that you stole that belongs to somebody else, and you gave them away without their permission. So these are 4 more acts of sin. So you are at -8, not at 36. And then Imam returned, and when the Imam was discussing and telling this to his companions, because the companions were very excited at this person, and he was the talk of the town, the Imam said, simple-minded people like these, they interpret the Quran in this manner and they are deviated themselves and they deviate others. So not staying connected with the guardian of the Quran is also a problem which can lead to people making these kind of mistakes. Anyway, أَفَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْضِ الْكِتَابِ وَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْضِ. Do you believe in part of the book and reject part of the book? You observe hijab where it is convenient and you take off your hijab where it becomes a threat to your job or to other things. You observe your religion, you practice your religion in the mosques, and when you leave the mosque, you're back to your old business style, doing all kinds of trade in whatever dealings that people do and deceptions. Picking and choosing religion will result in khizyan in this dunya, and in the hereafter we will have shadid iqab. I didn't get time to get into the main issue that I wanted to discuss today. Inshallah, we'll continue with that tomorrow. The framework that religion provides when it comes to choosing spouses for our children. And all then this applies not only to parents but also to children, the criteria. Because family is one of the basic building blocks of the society. And the family is not set up properly, you will have problems in the society. Because society is a collection of these units. And any delay and delays, unnecessary delays in marrying off our children will create more fasad and corruption in the society. It is very simple to understand. It is not rocket science. So imagine a community with 70% unemployment rate versus a community with 30% unemployment rate. In which community will you find more crimes? 70% unemployment or 30% unemployment? 70%. Why? Because there is now a breeding ground for crimes. Because people are unemployed. A community with 70% people who are eligible to get married and are not married, will that have more social and moral problems, or a society where 70% of them are married? Obviously, if there are unnecessary delays in marriage, Sometimes you have no choice but to delay marriage. Those are exceptions, but one should not delay marriage out of the framework that religion has provided. For reasons, for self-made social reasons that have no value in Islam. I want my daughter-in-law to be a doctor. Where does Islam say that? Only today somebody was telling me that his son, actually this youth was telling me that my marriage got delayed for 3 years because my mother wanted to get me a doctor. 3 years of his life wasted. And any sin that he committed in those, who is responsible? So Islam has given us a framework, and a detailed framework. It tells us what to do, what to look for, and in each stage of pre-marriage, at the time of marriage, post-marriage, the time of divorce, all of those frameworks are there in the Holy Quran. And you'll be surprised, some of those statements were such that when I came across them, I was surprised the Holy Quran says this. Nobody ever told me. It was surprising, and that was one of the motivations why I wanted to talk about this topic in this Ashra, that the Holy Quran is full. When you talk about Surah Yusuf, look at Surah Yusuf, in the beginning it says this surah has ayat, signs, Lissa'ilin, for those who have questions. How do you handle a community? How do you handle a country? How do you take a country out of the vacuum of famine? How do you manage a country? This surah tells you. Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam manages such a country and he takes them out of famine. Planning, mudiriyat, management, who to appoint. When he asks the king to appoint him ala khaza'inil arz, on the treasury, he gives 2 reasons. I am alim and I am amin. Giving the 2 criteria to look for. When, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, when at the time of Muawiyah, he was writing letters. There was a corresponding going on between Muawiyah and Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, where he was in one of the letters he wrote that, Imam, you are always complaining about Yazid and saying bad things about Yazid. You are doing ghibat about Yazid, whereas Yazid only says good things about you. Yazid only says good things about you, and look at you, you're doing ghibat of Yazid. You're saying bad things about him. And if you look at the statement of the Imam said, wa Yazid rajulun fasiqun sharibul khamr. He's a drunkard, he drinks. In one of the responses that Imam gave, the Imam wrote, wa sharibul muskir laysa bi aminin ala dirhamin. A person who drinks cannot be trusted with 1 dirham, with 1 silver coin. فَكَيْفَ عَلَى الْأُمَّةِ, how can the ummah be handed over to him? How can the ummah be handed? So again, this is a principle that Islam is giving us. Whoever drinks does not deserve to be the leader of the ummah. Look at the leaders of our ummah at this time. You'll find very few who do not drink. One of the disqualifiers for Yazid was that he drinks. When we are there to cast a vote, have we ever considered this as a parameter? Then problems will arise. You've handed the reins of an ummah in the hands of someone who cannot be trusted with even 1 dirham, and then there will be mass corruption going on. When the Imam was moving towards Karbala, when he had left Mecca, and in that journey towards Kufa, there was accompanying going on that on that path, but not with Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam's caravan, Zuhair ibn Qayn. This person was a companion of the Holy Prophet. He lived in Kufa. He did not write any letter to the Imam. He was not one of those who invited the Imam. No, he did not do that. One of the reasons was that he considered Imam and his children, Imam Ali and his children, ﷺ, complicit in the assassination of Hussain. He thought that Imam Ali somehow had a role to play. So he considered him, the Ahlul Bayt, complicit, and that is why he was avoiding the Imam. He did not want to face the Imam because he knew if he faced the Imam would invite him to his cause. So he wanted to avoid that confrontation. So either it was this, or the fact that he knew that along with the Imam are his family members, the women of the Ahlul Bayt, and he wanted to keep a distance. He did not want to make the situation awkward where he and the Imam rest and camp at the same place. So what he used to do, he used to camp one stop before or one stop after the Imam camps. So wherever the Imam camped, he would stop one stop after that. But during this journey, it happened at one point that they both were forced to camp on the same stop. So they both camped. Zuhair ibn Qayn was sitting in his tent and he was about to, with his friends, and he was about to have his morsel, his food, that there was a knock at his camp. Who is it? He said, I'm the messenger of Abu Abdullah. I have a message for you. The Imam wants to talk to you. This is what he was fearing. His hand stopped where it was. Did not know what to respond. At that time, his wife, this is where females can be a source of sending someone to Jannah or Jahannam. A pious wife, she said, the son of the Holy Prophet is inviting you. What are you waiting for? What are you thinking? Go and listen to him. With this little push that he needed, he went to see the Imam. When he left his camp, he was worried. History does not tell us what went through, what discussion the two of them had, but when he returned, it says that his face was shining and bright. He said to his friends, I've decided to join the camp of Imam Hussain. If anyone of you wants to join, you're welcome. One single meeting with the Imam, and the Imam changed everything for him. He took that decision. He joined the camp of the Imam. He turned to his wife and said, you are free. You can go. She wished him success in that journey, but said one important thing. She said, when you meet the grandfather of Imam Hussain on the day of Jannah, day of judgment, do not forget me. जब हुसैन के नाना से रोज़े महशर मुलाकात हो तो मुझे भूल ना जाना. Leaving his family, he joined the caravan of Imam Hussain. In this caravan landed in Karbala on the 10th, and this, in the night of Ashura, Zuhair was one of the companions who stood up when the Imam had turned off the lights and asked everybody to leave, and nobody left, and Imam was wanting to give them an excuse to leave. Imam created an alibi, an excuse, said if you do not want to leave, if you're not afraid of sacrificing yourselves, at least hold the hands of one of my family members and take them with yourselves. Save their lives. If you do not want to save yourself, save their lives. Yet no one left. These are the companions that Imam Hussain is proud of. Zuhair, on that night, he stood up and he expressed his loyalty, saying, "Oh Imam, this is only one life. If I have this life and I get killed, if I give up this life in your defense and I am brought back to life, I would again give my life in your defense. And if I am killed and brought back to life, I will again sacrifice myself for you. And even if this happens 1,000 times, I will continue doing this." In another statement, when the Imam gave him the permission to go and leave, he said, how can that happen? You are trapped among the enemy and I save myself? La wallahi, may Allah never show me that day. He was he was made in charge of the right flank of the Imam. And when the time of Asr came, and when one of the companions came to the Imam and said, is it not the time of prayers? The tradition is beautiful. These are the Imams of the time. They have a complete knowledge of all astronomical events. According to one of the tradition, the Imam looked in the sky and said no, and then said yes. That was the time when the sun actually was crossing the zenith. And when the Imam stood up to pray, it was Zuhair ibn Qayn and Syed ibn Abdullah who defended the Imam with their chest and their spears and their sheaths. And when the prayer ended, Syed bin Abdullah fell on the ground. Imam held him in his lap. He looked at the Imam and he said, Ya Imam, maine aapse wafa kar di? Have I fulfilled my promise to you? Have I been loyal to you? And the Imam said, you have been. On the day of Jannah, you will be walking ahead of me. Tum qiyamat mein mere aage chal rahe hoge. And after that, after Zuhair ibn Qayn comes to the Imam and seeks permission in this manner, he writes a verse. He said, Fadat ka nafsi hadiyan mahdiya. Mera nafs aap pe qurban ho jaye, eh hadi, जो खुदा की तरफ से guided है. Al-yawm alqa jaddakan nabi. Today I am going to meet your nabi, your jad, the nabi. Hasanan wal murtaza. Meet Hasan and Ali wazan janahain ash-shahid al-hayya. Today I am going to meet Jafar ibn Tayyar, the one with the two wings. When Imam heard his verses, the Imam gave him the permission and saying what sentence? He said, "Main tumhare piche piche aa raha hu." You are going and I'm going to follow you soon. He left for the battlefield. He killed 120 of the soldiers, and at what time comes when Zuhair ibn Qayn falls to the ground, 2 of the enemy soldiers made him fall to the ground. When he fell to the ground, he is one of those companions of the Imam for which the Imam came on his Janaza. He was there. The Imam took him in his lap. He opened his eyes. He looked at the Imam. He would be smiling. What a way to leave this dunya. When you open your eyes, you look to have the ziyarat of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam. When you are fighting the enemy, and you know the haram are safe in the camps and the Imam is there. But Zuhair, after a few moments, when the Imam will follow you, and when the Imam will be in this state, when he will be on the plains of Karbala, and when he will open his eyes, he will not see the Imam of the time. He will not see anyone else. He will not see anyone of his family members. He will see shimmer sitting on his chest. And he will be, when the Imam will see Zainab is seeing from a distance. Ala la'natullahi ala al-qawmi al-zalimin.
Ya Hussain, 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 Ya Hussain. Hussain, 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 Ya Hussain, 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 Ya Hussain, 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 Hussaina, ya. Everyone. Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain,
Hussaina, ya.
Faster. Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina, ya Hussain. Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina,
ya
Hussain. Allahu Akbar, this is the call of Ali Akbar for as-salah.
Allahu Akbar, this is the call of Ali Akbar for as-salah.
Ali Akbar for as-salah. You be the witness, he has the surah. You be the witness, he has the surah. He has the seerah of Mustafa. Hussain, Hussaina,
Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina, ya Hussain. Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina, ya Hussain.
Forgive me, Mawla, I am the one who severed your access to Al-Qamar.
Forgive me, Mawla, I am the one who severed your access to Al-Qamar.
Severed your access to Al-Qamar. Hurre-re-ahi, you are the free one. Hurre-re-ahi,
You are the free one.
in both the dunya and akhirah. Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain,
Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina, ya Hussain. Hussain, Hussaina,
Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain,
Hussain, Hussaina, ya Hussain.
Oh, Aka, let me go fetch some water for thirsty children from Al-Furat.
Oh, God, let me go fetch some water for thirsty children from Al-Furat.
For thirsty children from Al-Furat. Oh, will you come back, Ya Qamar-e-Hashim? Oh, will you come back, Ya Qamar-e-Hashim? Or will this be to your al-wida? Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina,
Hussain, Hussaina, ya Hussain.
Everyone.
Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina, ya Hussain.
Ya Ammu, tell me, will I be counted among the martyrs of Karbala?
Ya Ummi, tell me, will I be counted among the martyrs of Karbala?
Among the martyrs of Karbala. Oh, nephew Qasim, you are a hero. Oh, nephew Qasim, you are a hero. You are the warith of Mujtaba. Hussain, Hussaina,
Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina, ya Hussain.
Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina,
Hussain, Hussaina, ya Hussain.
Ya Ummi, I hear my father calling, Hal min Nasir yansuruna.
Ya Ummi, I hear my father calling, Hal min Nasir yansuruna.
Hal min Nasir yansuruna. I may be asghar, my heart is akbar.
I may be asghar, my heart is akbar.
I am the grandson of Murtada. Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina,
Hussain, Hussaina,
Everyone.
ya Hussain. Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina, ya Hussain.
This is the manzil of Mutmainna. This is the moment of Inna Lillah.
This is the manzil of Mutmainna. This is the moment of Inna Lillah.
This is the moment of Inna Lillah. Lower me into Nashib-e-Sahara.
Lower me into Nashib-e-Sahara.
To Ummi Zahra, O Zul-Jinah.
Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina, Ya Hussain. Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina, Ya Hussain.
Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina,
Hussain, Hussaina, Ya Hussain.
O Father Aina, O Father Aina, this is your daughter, this is Sakina.
O Father Aina, O Father Aina, this is your daughter, this is Sakina.
This is your daughter, this is Sakina. My heart is broken, my wounds are open. My heart is broken, my wounds are open. O Ammu Abba Seba Wafa.
Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina.
Everyone.
Hussain, Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina, Ya Hussain.
You are the martyr we venerate, your tragedy we commemorate.
You are the martyr we venerate, your tragedy we commemorate.
Your tragedy we commemorate. We are the Shia, we are your Ummah. We are the Shia, we are your Ummah. We are the students of Karbala. Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina, Ya
Hussain.
Everyone, Hussain, Hussain, louder. Hussaina, Hussain, Hussaina, Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli. Mu'mineen, we will have a short question and answer session.
Yes, there's a question from the audience. If the mic can be given to the child over there. As the mic reaches, I'll address one of the questions regarding hijab. What is the basic hijab, and is covering of a hair a must? This was asked a few days ago. Yes, covering of the hair is must. If you look at if your marja, the basic hijab is you have to cover. A female has to cover her entire body. It is only the face that she can keep uncovered, and the hands up to the wrists, provided there is no beautification or makeup on the face or on the hands. And some marjas allow the feet from the ankles downwards to be, that they can be left uncovered, but other than that, the entire body needs to be covered. Yes. Wa alaikum salam.
I did a problem treatment for the annual day.
Okay, I did not follow the question. Can you?
You said that there are problems everywhere in life, but are there problems even for the Ahlul Bayt?
Yes, even the Ahlul Bayt had to face problems in life. Yes, they also have to face problems, and through those problems, they elevate in their station. Imam Hussain had to face a tyrant like Yazid, and he had to fight him. And through this sacrifice, he reached the station of martyrdom and shaheed. So yes, the prophets and the holy prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala faced the maximum torture and problem that any person in this dunya ever faced. Yeah, so there's a question down, and from the lady side, let's get from the lady side first.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
My question is, as you discussed about the delay in marriage, what if a girl or any boy wants to focus on their career first and And like even like your parents are trying to get you married, but you want to focus on your career, you want to go abroad, and you want to study more, you want to do a job. So could you please tell me how to deal with that?
So the answer would vary and be different from person to person. Ideally, if people can get married at an early age and study together and grow together, because job will never end in life. Your career will be something that will always be there, right? So getting married after you're well set in your career for boys and girls together is not the right approach. Yes, this is the prevalent approach in the society, but ideally, if we can manage both, and both parents, the parents of the girl and the parents of the boy can come together to make sure that they do not put extra burden on the kids in terms of financially managing their marital life, that would be the ideal. That would be the ideal. So this question has more to it. It is not a single direct answer to it, but yes, it is advisable and encouraged to get married at an early age and manage and keep your marital life simple and have support from parents so that you can grow together. Yes, there was a question from the youth. So we will continue with this topic tomorrow as well. So if there are any other questions, you can either send on Slido or ask tomorrow. Yes. Walaikum assalam.
During the Masjid, you talked a bit about the problems we face as Muslims, and how we're supposed to endure and we're supposed to take it with sabr. But for different people, obviously, there's going to be problems of different magnitudes. So, do you think that there is a direct relation with the magnitude of the problem you face and how close or how far away you are with God?
Yes, there is a relationship. Allah does not burden someone with a problem that he cannot bear. So, the more closer to Allah you are, the more challenges you will face, the bigger your problems will be. And I think in one of the ways to evaluate yourself is to see what your problems are. And if your problems are too simple, then I think there is a long way for us to go. So, La yukallifullahu nafsan illa wus'aha. Allah does not burden a nafs, a soul, except to what they can bear. So, a bigger soul, a greater soul will face more problems. Look at the problems of Imam Ali of Imam Hussain. They had graver problems to deal with than me and you. Yes, there is a relationship. There's a Walaikum salam.
Yesterday we were discussing about the name of Allah.
The name of?
Name of Allah.
Yes.
So is there any difference between rahmat and nemat?
Rahmat is mercy and nemat is a blessing. So that is basically translational difference, or they're two different things. Rahmat is mercy and nemat is a blessing. It is a common statement. I'm yet to confirm that, which is said that for every blessing there is accountability, and whereas rahmat is more general, right? But nemat are blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and rahmat is mercy of Allah. Though every nemat can be a mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but mercy, the scope of mercy is wider than just nema, because sometimes punishment and azab can be mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but you might not directly call it nema. Welcome.
You said Quran is a treasure and we can find all our answers we're looking for, but we need guidance. We need guidance from those who understand Quran. And we believe that al-Talim are the ones who provide us, are the ones who provide us that guidance in understanding Quran. If we compare that to Al-Sunnah or Al-Hadith, they restrict it to just the life of Prophet Muhammad. So that there is what he said or how he lived is sufficient for the guidance. How can we count ourselves more fortunate to not just have Prophet Muhammad's life and sayings, but actually the whole Muhammad behind it?
So the question is, what was the question then?
How can we find ourselves more fortunate in comparison to Ahl-Sunnah?
Well, that is the choice that they made themselves. Right? They chose to disconnect themselves from the Ahlul Bayt. So that was a decision that they had to make, and they can even make that decision today and become fortunate like us. So this is a decision that they took, and we are fortunate. Well, we are fortunate that first of all, we were born in a family that was connected to the Ahlul Bayt. That is one blessing of Allah. But we would really be fortunate when we actually make use of that connection and actually seek guidance from them. It's one thing to be born in such a family. It's like a thing to actually seek guidance. And for them, so they have to make that move to actually reconnect themselves with the Ahlul Bayt. And the Quran, if they look at the Quran will guide them. The words that I say, Inna hadal Quran yahdi lillati hiya aqwam, this Quran guides toward that which is most upright. One of the inner meanings of this verse is that it is this Quran that guides you towards the Imam. Even this verse is saying, so the Quran has pointers, has lights falling on the key. So this is a door and the key is here and the Quran is pointing to the key. So pick up the key and open the door and unlock it. So the Quran is pointing you to the Ahlul Bayt. It's talking about the Ahlul Bayt and other features, and those who have light and open eyes can see the Ahlul Bayt as it guides. Sallu ala Muhammad wa alayhi Muhammad.